G20 नए विचारों की परिकल्पना के लिए और सामूहिक एक्शन को गति देने के लिए एक ग्लोबल प्राइम मूवर की तरह काम करें। वैश्विक विकास महिलाओं की भागीदारी के बिना संभव नहीं है। भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता की थीम वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर में पूर्ण रूप से समाहित है।
Good evening. It is 7:30 in the evening in India and we are back again with a spotlight on G20. There were 3 G20 meetings today at 3 locations: in Jodhpur in western India, in Guwahati in eastern India, and in Chennai in southern India. There were 3 focus areas: mobilizing financial resources for climate finance and SDGs, addressing global skills gaps, and promoting lifelong learning in the context of work, and collaborative efforts to promote research and innovation. Our reporters Ravi Dhiman, Amritpal Singh, Shyama Mishra and Aditya Srivastav bring us the latest updates from the 3 meetings at 3 locations. I'm Munun Bhattacharya. Let's get started with the top stories. The first G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group under India's presidency kicks off in Guwahati with deliberations on ways to mobilize financial resources for climate finance and enabling finance for sustainable development goals. Jodhpur, the Blue City, begins hosting the first Employment Working Group meeting. The meeting aims to address labour, employment and social issues for strong, sustainable, balanced and job-rich growth for all. Deliberations on the first day focus on addressing global skills gaps. G20 Education Working Group meeting concludes in Chennai. Second day sees deliberations on building capacities, promoting lifelong learning in the context of work, strengthening research and promoting innovation through richer collaboration. Ahead of the first Energy Transitions Working Group meeting in Bengaluru, Union Power and New and Renewable Energy Minister R.K. Singh says focus will be on addressing technology gaps and financing for energy transition across countries in a time-bound and affordable manner. The first day of deliberations at the Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting in Guwahati saw active participation by G20 delegates on 2 important aspects out of a total of 3 focus areas over 2 days. We will tell you what they are. Apart from the deliberations, the delegates got an unforgettable experience of Assam's rich cultural heritage. DD India's correspondent Ravi Dhiman files this report from Guwahati.
The day started with the inaugural speech of Union Minister for Ayush, Sarbanand Sonowal. The importance of the theme of sustainable finance was emphasized repeatedly by the minister. In the press conference that followed, he listed the 3 main topics for discussion over 2 days.
This is a very novel initiative, and definitely in the near future, this particular group is also going to bring out the roadmap for how to mobilize the sustainable finance for this noble action to be well performed. So I believe in this particular aspect, this first sustainable finance working group meeting is very, very important for the people of the globe.
The deliberation started immediately afterwards. The delegates at the meeting, coming from G20 nations as well as international organizations, expressed their gratitude for the warm hospitality offered by the state of Assam.
It's been a privilege, first of all, to be in such a beautiful and warm country with warm people, very receptive. The Indian presidency organized everything in the smallest details. They didn't forget anything.
There was a wonderful welcome, really wonderful, with dancing and music, and then we had great food, and now we've had a really, really good meeting.
Well, the hospitality of Assam has been exceptional, I have to say. We've been actually received very well on our arrival. The excursion yesterday was beautiful, and I had the chance to also see some temples, so that was great. And the meeting is very, very well organized with a key focus area that we believe at the OECD will really help mobilizing sustainable finance.
India is taking forward the initiative taken by Italy during its presidency in 2021 when the working group was initiated. Since then, the talks have made remarkable progress. India believes that after the talks conclude on Friday, there will be forward movement on the subject.
This first sustainable finance working group meeting is very, very important for the people of the globe. And with the coordinated efforts, with the public-private participation, with the proper policy, with proper roadmap, definitely out of this today's event, we are going to get a very, very important, way out to meet the sustainable development goals, agenda, and also the objective of the Paris Agreement.
The first day of deliberations covered the first two topics identified by the Indian presidency, that is, mechanism for mobilization of adequate resources for climate finance and enabling finance for sustainable development goals. Deliberations on the second and final day will focus on the third issue of capacity building of the ecosystem for financing sustainable development.
As more than 100 delegates from G20 nations and other groups invited by India deliberate on immensely important issues under the first Sustainability Finance Working Group meeting under the G20 finance track here in Guwahati, all eyes are on this northeastern town because of the immense importance of the issues at hand here. Over 4 sessions spread over 2 days, these delegates will discuss the mechanism that has to be evolved for ensuring that there are resources to fight climate change. They have to evolve a mechanism for capacity building to fight climate change, and also they will be looking at how resources and finance can be ensured for sustainable development goals. By the time deliberations end tomorrow, all eyes will be on Guwahati. With camera person Sanjeev Sharma, this is Ravi Dhiman for DD India in Guwahati.
And that's not all. Stalls at the venue are depicting Assam's heritage and arts. Ravi Dhiman gets us this ground report from Guwahati.
One of the highlights of the first Sustainable Finance Working Group meet is these stalls outside the venue where the meeting is taking place. And all these stalls depict the rich cultural heritage of Assam, and they have been attracting many delegates who have come here. For instance, this elephant carved out of stone has already been sold to someone who is a guest in this hotel. And apart from this stall, which depicts the various artistic capabilities and abilities of people of Assam, there are many other stalls which depict the rich culture of Assam, be it the cane work which is depicted here in this stall, or the other various artifacts of Assam. The hospitality of Assam is known all across India for its warmth, and the delegates here, more than 100 in number, are also now having a feel of it, this warmth, hospitality. Apart from that, of course, the Assam tea is also a huge attraction for the delegates here. So between these intense deliberations on sustainable finance and associated issues, the delegates are enjoying hospitality of Assam and also they're having a very good experience of the rich cultural heritage of this northeastern Indian state. With cameraman Sanjeev Sharma, Ravi Dhiman, DD India, Guwahati.
So Assam's handicrafts and specialities have been displayed there at the venue of the G20 meeting. India's presidency of G20 is unlocking its tourism potential. Prior to the meeting, G20 delegates got the opportunity to visit the Kaziranga National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where they learned about the diversity of the flora and fauna of India and shared their experiences. Take a look. The Employment Working Group meeting began in Jodhpur on Thursday with the goal of addressing priority labour, employment and social issues for sustainable, inclusive and job-rich growth. Deliberations on the first day focused on addressing global skills gaps. DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh reports from Jodhpur.
The first day of the three-day G20 Employment Working Group meeting kicked off in Jodhpur, Rajasthan, with a panel discussion to explore strategies for global skills, qualification and harmonization, and developing a framework for common skill taxonomies. The Employment Working Group is focusing on key areas of addressing global skill gaps, extending social protection to workers, sustainable financing of social security, and other themes.
With the fast-changing pace of technology, the shelf life of skill sets has considerably reduced in present times. Added to that, the pandemic, which changed the very nature of how we used to work. As the delegates of G20 countries, the invitee countries, and organizations like the ILO or the International Labour Organization gather here in Jodhpur, they explore ways of enhancing the global skills and also addressing the question of social security for its workforce. With cameraman YK Loknath, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Jodhpur.
The first G20 Education Working Group meeting concluded in Chennai with a call to catalyze quality academic research collaborations across G20 members to strengthen research and promote innovation. G20 will work together to develop a roadmap for enhancing knowledge creation and research. A seminar and exhibition highlighting the role of technology in education at IIT Madras set the stage for the first G20 Education Working Group meeting in Chennai on 31st January.
We are now getting into a different format as we see here. We have a seminar and then an exhibition and then tomorrow is the working group meeting. And what we do here today is basically one is an icebreaker. We are able to start conversing with people, we get introduced to people. We also understand the concerns of different countries in the area of education.
While the seminar saw deliberations on providing accessible and equitable education to learners in the whole schooling ecosystem and on enabling high-quality higher education learning opportunities at scale, at the exhibition, several countries and other institutions showcased their education systems.
We have now 50 stalls here, and this is open today for the delegates who are attending this conference. From tomorrow and day after tomorrow, 2 days, we are going to keep it open for general public. We expect around 20,000 people to come and look at this.
The first G20 Education Working Group meeting started on 1st February with the traditional lighting the lamp ceremony. The plenary session started with welcome remarks from Dr. L. Murugan, Union Minister of State for Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Information and Broadcasting.
India launched its national education policy in 2020, under which many initiatives have been rolled out for making education more inclusive, accessible, affordable, relevant to emerging needs and of high quality. Some of these include addressing issue of early childhood care and education, preventing school dropout, introducing innovative pedagogies, focus on teacher training, making higher education multidisciplinary and flexible.
The sessions of first day of the working group meeting focused on foundational literacy and numeracy, making educational technology more inclusive and collaborative, and bridging gaps in digital infrastructure, human infrastructure and administrative systems. Engaging discussions were followed by a tour to the spectacular UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Shore Temple and 5 chariots at Mahabalipuram. The tour gave the delegates an opportunity to experience India's craftsmanship and architectural heritage. The delegates were also enthralled by spectacular cultural programs organized by the Indian Council for Cultural Relations and Tamil Nadu government's Department of Art and Culture. The second and final day saw deliberations on building capacities, promoting lifelong learning in the context of work, and strengthening research and promoting innovation through richer collaboration. Addressing the media on the outcomes of the meeting, K. Sanjay Murthy, Union Higher Education Secretary, said that the first meeting has set the tone for upcoming deliberations and monitoring of the deliverables will be done now.
The 4 topics were deliberated in detail. We had intensive presentations by OECD, UNICEF on particular themes which were discussed over the 2 days. And the most heartening aspect of the deliberations were a complete unanimity towards the priorities identified under India's presidencyship and the willingness to work towards achieving measurable outcomes towards that end.
The G20 delegates appreciated India for its choice of priorities, terming them important and timely.
We exchanged views on many educational topics, and we shared experiences among the countries that attended these meetings.
We feel that there is an opportunity for us to share with the world, but also an opportunity to also draw lessons from the world in terms of how their approach to education as in totality, but also in terms of how they are responding to the challenges that we are facing globally.
Apart from the discussions, the delegates were treated to the cultural delights of Tamil Nadu through various performances. So all in all, the first meeting of the G20 Education Working Group in Chennai trained the focus on the 4 priority areas under India's G20 presidency: ensuring foundational literacy and numeracy, tech-enabled learning, promoting lifelong learning, and strengthening research and innovation through richer collaboration and partnerships. The future meetings are set to consolidate progress on the 4 priority areas.
The first G20 Education Working Group meeting ends today in Chennai. The deliberations and the discussions that the member countries and invited countries discussed were mainly on that education will be the driving force for positive and sustainable change in the future for the entire world. With camera person S. Jayashankar, this is Shama Mishra for DD India, Chennai.
So So those are the takeaways over 3 days in Chennai, and on the sidelines of the final day of the G20 Education Working Group meeting in Chennai, DD India correspondent Shyama Mishra spoke to the artisans who have put on display a handicrafts exhibition. More in this report.
Showcasing our rich cultural handicrafts over here at the G20 Education Working Group, there are stalls put up. These all materials and these are assets are there of our artisans, and they have carved, they have painted and worked hard to put up these paintings and all other materials over here. The delegates are taking keen interest in all these handicrafts that are put over here. Over here you can see live live demo, we could say, of the lamp that he's making. This is called Nachyar coil lamps, and he's carving the brass and he's making it. So how do you make it, and kitna time, how much time does it take to make one lamp?
7 days.
7 days.
7 days.
So it takes 7 days to make one lamp, and likewise you can see all these huge lamps, and then small samais are also there available. These are our saris and all these materials. We also have over here all the locations of the Tamil Nadu which is to be seen or which is to be explored through tourism board. Tamil Nadu has displayed. So this is a handloom, and right now the delegates would also be taking interest in how this actually works, because this will be for saris, and then there is another handloom which makes towel. Then we also have wooden charkha. So how much time does it take to make one lot of this, and what are you actually making of this?
One saree hank, 1 or 1.5 days charkha is running.
And G20 delegates are coming and seeing this. How proud are you?
I'm happy in foreigners and my handloom working in demo.
So the artisans are happy showcasing their talent to the foreign G20 delegates. Likewise, if you see over here, these are all styles. This is Tanjavur art plate. Then there's Swami Malai bronzes, and there's wood carving as well. So all these art and skill are being showcased. So what are you making, and what's the speciality of this art?
It's Tanjavur art plate. One plate is 3 days.
So one plate like this is 3 days, and there's a lot of we could say hard work going in, and definitely they are showcasing it to the entire world through the G20 Education Working Group. With camera person S. Jaishankar, this is Shyama Mishra for DD India, Chennai.
And there's more. G20 delegates in Chennai were served delicious millets which signify the rich culinary heritage of India. In fact, India's G20 presidency has focused on millets as nutritious diet. The first G20 Energy Transitions Working Group meeting will be held in Bengaluru from 5th to 7th February. Addressing the media ahead of the meeting, Union Minister of Power, New and Renewable Energy R.K. Singh said that energy is going to be a major part of the G20 discussions. He termed India as a leader in energy transition. He further said that the meeting will focus on addressing technology gaps and financing for energy transition across countries in a time-bound and affordable manner. Take a listen.
As far as energy is concerned, the world is going through a number of challenges. Initially, the challenge was, and for the past almost 2 decades, the challenge in energy was seen to be linked with the challenge to the climate change. And the emphasis was on energy transition. That emphasis remains. But now, another challenge has emerged. And that's the challenge of energy security. Developed countries facing difficulties in terms of energy security.
Ahead of the Y20 India Inception meeting in Guwahati, Union Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Singh Thakur spoke on the importance of Y20 as a forum for the youth in India and around the world.
G20 presidency, the Youth Engagement Group, Y20, will play a crucial role in taking India's presidency to the masses of the country. In the true spirit of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the theme of G20 India will ensure India's civilizational values along with its new age and jet-setting growth story resonates across the globe. I am certain that the Y20 India will ensure that the remarkable vision and the genius of the youth of India is channelized in a manner that young minds can contribute their best to the nation at the time of our presidency. The Youth 20 is a brilliant way to amplify the voices of young people. The world will be listening to you very carefully. You have a seat at the table and you are being heard. I hope you will utilize this platform for exchange of ideas, experiences, innovative ways of thinking and mindful action. My best wishes to all the participants. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
In fact, the G20 under India's presidency has entered now its third month in February. So let's take stock of the key events of January and also take a look at what to expect this month. Here's Muktesh Pardeshi, officer on special duty in G20 Secretariat, giving us the details. We'll leave you with that. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Today we enter the third month of India's G20 presidency. I'm very happy to share some details of the meetings which we have had in the month of January. We had 4 working group meetings in the field of health, infrastructure and international financial architecture. These meetings were supplemented by a number of engagement group meetings as well as public events which involved large number of students and the younger generation. Last month we had the inception meetings of the Business 20, Startup 20 and some others. February looks very active for us. We have 10 working group meetings lined up in several sectors starting from education, culture, tourism to the fields of energy and climate change. The month will see the first ministerial meeting, the first finance minister meeting will happen in Bangalore towards the end of February. We have been reaching out to people, student community in particular, as well as the business people from the startup sector in carrying forward the message of G20. With the help of RIS, we had 9 university lectures from Kerala in the south to University of Punjab in the north. We intend to carry forward with the student lectures in the month of February as well. Our intention is to cover as many at universities as possible. In terms of other public events in the month of January, of course, the highlight was G20 was part of the co-branding with the Kite Festival in Gujarat. We participated in Bharat Parv, which happened immediately after the Republic Day celebration. Friends, we are going to have very active calendar in the month of February, and we look forward to having you and seeing you in different places of India.
Get in-depth analysis of the important news of the day. Spotlight on day's newsmakers. Expert comments to dissect the news. Get the finer points of the matter. Watch Dateline 5 p.m. on weekdays on DD India.
ये विशाल है ना, इसका सब प्रॉपर चलता है। कल उसके बैंक अकाउंट में 15,000 रुपए का फ्रॉड हुआ है, पता है? इसको तो कोई टेंशन ही नहीं होती है, देखना।
टेंशन क्यों? मेरी कोई गलती नहीं थी। फिर भी फ्रॉड होने पर मैंने तुरंत बैंक को इन्फॉर्म कर दिया। आरबीआई कहता है अगर आपके अकाउंट से किसी ने धोखे से पैसे निकाले हैं तो बैंक को जल्द से जल्द इन्फॉर्म कीजिए। 3 दिन के अंदर इन्फॉर्म किया तो कोई नुकसान नहीं होगा। जितना लेट करोगे उतना ज्यादा नुकसान। और सुन, सब चलता नहीं है, प्रॉपर चलाना पड़ता है। आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।